G'day folks, welcome to another episode of Bandaged Cube Creations. Well, in this episode we're going to look at the C block clock. Now, I've done the C block previously and it was relatively straightforward, even though it's got this gigantic big slice here. The C block clock has an extra clock, obviously. And so that does increase the difficulty, but not by much. Now, I'm very embarrassed to say that I did actually record a video before this and made it way harder than it needed to be and decided, nah, that's not appropriate. Let's record another one, which is quite simple. So what I was trying to do in that other video was basically create a big block here. And it was really quite problematic getting some of these pairs together. And then once I'd done that, it was still problematic because of this thing here. So I've abandoned that method. This I think is much better, much easier, much quicker. So in terms of scrambling it, what I want to do is probably just, I generally will hold it like this with the big slice here. And this thing is just going to swivel around as I move faces like so, and just start going nuts and hopefully actually scrambling it. It doesn't look like it's going super scrambly yet. That's getting there. Now, of course, I can't turn these front and the back faces, so it's always wanting this thing sort of in one of these three positions. Well, I suppose actually that is possible as well, so I can do that. Just have to be aware of which faces I can turn. How is that looking? I don't think any pieces are next to where they belong. And the thing about this puzzle is it is impossible to flip edges, but it certainly is possible to twist corners. So at least the edges don't have any real problem to them. They're essentially just placing them. And I reckon that is as good as I'm going to get for a scramble. What can I do? I can't move this thing. All I can do is swivel that around. So as I begin, I'm going to put that back into its position, and I'm just going to solve all the edges on this side first. And so initially I can just grab the orange white wherever it is. Okay, here it is, and kind of bring it up to here, turn it around and put it into its position. Same sort of thing with this one, the orange green at the bottom. That will turn up to that face, put it on, undo. Notice I'm not worrying about whether it is correctly oriented because it is. Orange yellow is another one, and that is here. So I can probably just turn that up, put it on, undo. And then the last one, the blue orange. Again, that's just sitting here, so we'll do the same thing. All four of those are done. That's in position. I'll just do the same sort of thing to get these edges done. So I'm ending with these last three, so I'll get the two here done. I'll take a pick. I'll put the red white there and then place the red green into that position. And then I'll just have a look and see if I've got a swap or a cycle. The blue yellow is in, the red yellow and the red blue, okay, they need to swap. So because I've got a swap, it's the same as any other situation like this. I want to turn a face one turn. The obvious face to turn is this face here. Now I could turn it that way, or I could turn it that way. Generally, I'll turn it that way. I just think it's easier to deal with cycling pieces home here. So what I want to do now is get the red-green back down to that position. So I'm going to do an extra setup and now cycle those three pieces. Undo that setup. That one's back in. The red-white, same sort of deal. And that will either leave you in this position with solved or a simple three cycle to finish them off. Now the corners. To do the corners, I'm going to do a corner piece series. Really simple, and I'm going to hold it like this. And the beautiful thing about it is that you might think, well, isn't this in the way? Well, if you have the corners in a particular configuration, it always turns so that it's not in the way. And I'll just show that as I go through it. So what I'd like to do is solve the bottom corners first, or place the bottom corners first, doesn't matter which order. So what have I got at the top? I don't have orange, green, yellow. Do I have red, green, white? No. Do I have red, green, yellow? Yes, I do. Okay, so red, green, yellow needs to go into that position. So I'm just going to turn that up and just think, well, it's got to go that direction. At the moment, the configuration it's in, it's going like this. So I'll do a setup here. Notice the corner movement is that direction, which means my first turn of the upper face is a U-turn, clockwise, which means when I do that, it's going to put the clock out of the way and I can turn that right face. And that's what I mean by the configuration will just work. So these three, I don't care about any others except this one here. So let's carry out that corner piece series. All done. And I'll undo that and undo that. This corner is in. How about this one? Red, green, white. That's not up the top yet, so let's leave that. Orange, white, green. That is up the top, so I can turn this one to here initially. Yep, that's a good setup. That piece movement is that way, and the orange, white, green will come across to the position that I want it to be in. So because it's this way, this time I'm doing an anti-clockwise turn, and you'll notice again it's not blocking. We'll undo that setup. That one's in orange, green, yellow. It's actually over here, so let's do the white, green, red, which is over here. So in this case, I've kind of got to swap these. So what I can do is just turn both of them up and just place one of them. Doesn't really matter which one. I'll just move that across to there, I think. Or in fact, which one was it? It was actually this one. So I don't want to do that because it'll involve this thing, I think. So if I just leave it there, I want the white, red, green to go there, or the yellow, green, orange to go there. So if my piece movement is that yellow, green, orange will go across to there. Okay, that'll do. All done. What were my setups? That one and that one. That's still done. Those two are done. It's just this one here, white, red, green. A simple setup there will allow me to cycle that in that direction. That's done. Undo. Now I'm just left with corners on the top. I'm either going to have solved or I'm going to have two swaps, or a situation like this where I've got one of them in position and then the other three need to cycle. So it's just a matter of looking what direction do I have to go here. I've got moving around to there. This may be slightly problematic because I can't have this bar here, I don't think. Let me just double check, because what I need to happen here is that movement is there, which means I would have to go up, turn, and then try and turn the right, which is no good. So in this situation, what I would probably do is just sacrifice a piece and go, I just want to place one of these two at the bottom. And I'm not even that concerned with which one it is. The orange, white, blue is that one. So I'm going to place that one over to there first, and I'll do that by turning, cycling that direction. All done. Undo the turn. The reason for that is now my final cycle is really, really simple to carry out. Red, yellow, blue to there, blue, yellow, orange to there, this one to here. So that is my setup, and now I can happily go ahead and do that. All right, all done. Put them back. The corners are in position. The last thing to do here is twist them. I can't do the thing that I would normally do, which would be two up, up, down, downs, and then turn an upper face, because I just don't have three faces around a corner to do that with. So I'm going to absolutely need to do a Sune and a Sune mirror. So I would hold the puzzle basically like this. I can't hold it like that because I need to have that top face turning. So sort of probably with the red on the top and this one here. Now I can have this clock in that position or that position. What I can't have it in is that position, because when I try and do my right turn, it'll block my upper turn from happening. So any of them is okay. Let's see what I can do on the top here. Clockwise, anti-clockwise, that's lovely. Just spin that around, get these two done. This is a very standard corner twisting routine. So a Sune. Now I want to do the mirror. Normally I'd just go ahead and do it, but this big slice is blocking things, so I'm going to move it right out of the way. And you can see that at the moment, if I try and do that, that's problematic. So then I go, what do? Do I do this? Well, I still can't do it. So in actual fact, what I will do is undo that soon. And I'll show you the alternative. Because this is over here, it's fine for this side, but it causes trouble over on the left. So in actual fact, I probably want it there. So let's just put these back to here. And if you don't kind of want to have to, I guess, set up, is there another way that you could do it? Probably not. Probably you just want to have, I guess, I mean, what's the only other thing? Really that, but it's going to run into the same problem. So we'll just think initially, yeah, same sort of deal, anti-clockwise and clockwise. So I'll turn that, but I'll do that as well before I start. And that should allow me to get it done. So do the Sune first. Then turn that, and you'll see now I'm happily able to do it. Okay, undo that setup, and undo that setup. So those two have been twisted. We can also, I guess, carry it out on the orange face if we want as well. We'd probably just have to do a bit of a setup there. So whatever's easiest. Let's have a look. That's got to go anti-clockwise. That's got to go clockwise. They are just beautifully set up. So because of that, I'm going to turn it to there so that both the Sune and the Sune mirror will be available, because then that'll be fine. So away we go. Sune first. Spin it round and Sune mirror. Okay, simple setup, couldn't even do that. And that leaves us with 2 to go. So kind of take your pick as to which ones you want to do and how you want to achieve that. Let's go here. I've got one on the upper face already, which has to go anti-clockwise. I've got to get this one to the top as well. Now, if I put that there and then bring this up, I'm going to have the wrong order. So I'll try instead to put it there. It's still going to be a problem. So there may not be any way to easily get this, although let's have a think. If I do, I could do that and then that, and then I've got them. Now, whether that is worth it, I tend to think probably not. And instead of that, all I'm going to do is do that as a setup. And in fact, that one as a setup. Right 2, up, right prime. And I'm just going to do this routine twice to get them twisted. There's the first one. Okay, there's the second. What on earth did I do? Right 2, up, right prime, I think. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. And that looks good. So there you go, the C block clock. As I say, I hope that comes across as fairly straightforward, because I think it is, and it's much simpler than the method that I did do initially. But the clock certainly adds something. but you'd probably still call this relatively straightforward. It's the C block clock. Well, this is the puzzle for the next video. It is called the Bandaged Ruin puzzle, and it's deceptively interesting and tricky. It's only got 2 clocks and they're next to each other, so straight away you'd probably think, oh, maybe I could do a fuse block or something there, but it's got 3 pairs, and this pair is wrongly put. In other words, obviously it's exactly where it's meant to be, but it would be much simpler if it was there. So it's got a pair here, and then it's got 2 more pairs over this side. So just being more direct about it, we've got a clock front to front down. We've got a clock right to right down. We've got a pair front right to front up right. And then when we turn it over, we have a down left to down left front pair, and a left back to left back. What's that one? Up. That's what it is. And so 2 clocks and 3 pairs, and that is what we'll be looking at in the next video.